the media scene here in Greece, a long-serving correspondent for ERT, the state broadcaster, and somebody we know very well. Fanis Papathanasiou is the diplomatic correspondent for ERT, the Greek state broadcaster. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thanks for the time.
John, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you're very busy at this stage. This is a phenomenal election. Are we getting indications of whether the fear factor, we're standing on the edge of a hotel and you look down at the street and you get that kind of nervousness when you look at a drop like that. Is that scaring people into the center-right concept of staying with the euro or not?
Listen, the question is euro or drachma, but the fear and the international pressure makes it more complicated. Greeks live under the memorandum now for 2.5 years. That brought misery in their lives, this last pensions, wages, so they see no hope. So they question and say, what if don't have the memorandum and go back to drachma?
Is it going to be clear, the memorandum of austerity and reform?
Yeah.
Mr. Papandreou signed on to it. He's taken a huge amount of heat for putting the Greeks in this sort of difficult position. Syriza is talking about tearing it up.
So what Greeks say is that the memorandum brought misery in our lives. We are hopeless. If you walk in Athens, you're going to find homeless. You will hear in the news people commit suicide under the pressure every day.
Unheard of in this society before.
Yeah.
A fair comment.
Yeah. So they say, and the question is, what if you're going back to drachma? Is it going to be any worse? Because with the memorandum, they think that their life is going to get worse, even worse by month by month. So they say, what if you go back to drachma? Is it going to be any better? Is this going to put a final end to this misery? Because what Greeks say is that let's put a final end to this misery. Let's put a final end, and let's put a bottom in the barrel, as they say.
By voting out of the euro. But at this stage...
It's not clear. There are gray areas. Let's go to Tsipras's program. There are gray areas in this program.
Intentionally gray.
Yeah.
And then one would safely say that he was actually much further to the left until he picked up the support and then realized he can't win the election, so he's moved closer to the center. But is he truly a centrist politician or one that could be on the center left or not?
It's a big question. So he pledges to restore wages and pensions. He pledges to fight against Merkel and to change the memorandum, actually to reject the memorandum. The question is, how can he rip up the agreements and stay at the euro at the same time? So the big question today is this situation going to scare people? Are going to make them reluctant to vote for him? So this is the big question.
Okay, another longer-term question I wanted to ask you about, and we have about 45 seconds for this. Is this the sweeping change of a Greek spring, if you will, where you sweep out the political dynasties, the Papandreous, the Mitsotakis, the Karmalises, because they haven't delivered, or is there not a big enough bench of political leaders and they get to stick around? What do you think?
What Tsipras is pledging and promises is to fight the old political corrupted system. So people see at Tsipras a hope. We don't know if this is over or not, but people, I think, here live a déjà vu with Tsipras. We lived we lived here in Greece with Papandreou in the 80s. And half of Syriza voters that backed Syriza in the late elections are PASOK, all of the old PASOK supporters.
They moved left.
Yeah, they moved left. So a large number, like 22%, that backed Syriza during the last elections are public workers. These are typical characteristics of the PASOK, the old PASOK. And at the same time, we have the dissolution of PASOK. PASOK, as you mentioned, had 41%.
Yeah.
Now he's going to fight to stay up in 10, 11%.
If it's lucky.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Yeah, thanks a lot for the analysis as well. That's once again Fanis Papathanasiou of ERT Television, the diplomatic correspondent. Well, as Fanis was bringing it up during our interview here, the Greek society has changed radically over the last 5 years.